صباح الخير مرة ثانية ويعطيكم ألف عافية and thank you for joining me. I would want to apologize for those technical glitches that have happened, and they're always there because we are on the digital age kind of thing. And one of the success factors for any brand is for them to understand how to navigate around technology. And that is a given from me at the beginning of the session. After that giveaway, I want to just say, well, I'm not going to tell you or give you anything on a silver plate today. As I said, I want this session to be kind of interactive, and we want to work together on identifying the brand success factors. But before we do that, I just want to ask you a fundamental question. Who can define a brand for me? What do we mean by the term brand? Are you typing anything on the chat? I see nothing. So who can define a brand? Nothing? All right, let's try this. How many brands do you see on this slide? This will make it easier for both of us to actually define what do we mean by brand, and then dive deep into analyzing, identifying, and listing down what actually makes a brand successful.
طبعا الطلاب استاذة مريم يكتبون.
طيب ممكن تقولي
ليش قاعدة أعطيهم المايكات، قاعدة أفتح لهم على أساس يقدرون يتكلمون.
يلا تمام. I'm waiting.
تعيدين السؤال استاذة مريم إذا ممكن؟ أتوقع منال ردت عليش في الشات.
طيب أنا كنت أسأل مقدما أبغي تعريف حق كلمة brand. يعني إحنا when I say this brand and that brand, what do we mean by the term brand?
أي منال كتبت ليش في الشات.
أنا آسفة ما أقدر أشوفها لأن فول سكرين، قاعدة أحاول إن أطلع لي طريقة عشان أشوف شنو تكتبون، بس يا ريت أحد يقرأ إذا في مجال. Yeah. Right, so I think I can see what you guys are typing. A type of product manufactured by a particular company. And Fajr says, a type of product manufactured by a particular company under a particular name. Are you Googling, guys? Okay, yalla, few more answers, and then we will head toward our common definition. See, there's always, multiple definitions for everything in life. There's no right or wrong. It's the way you define things, and it's the way you give it that authority for it to be a brand or not. Okay, for those people that have answered, for instance, Manal, Fajr, and who said Salam, Muhammad. How many brands do you see on this slide? Can you count the number of brands? I mean, see, I'll tell you something. A brand is an intangible marketing or business concept that helps you as consumers, that helps us as consumers to identify the company, the product, or even an individual. Nowadays, we are our own brands. Those social media influencers, those famous figures, those political figures, each and every one of them is a brand on his own. But because we are within the retail sector, we will be discussing more about retail brands, whereby there are products, there are services, and there is always that daily interaction between us as an end user and consumers and that specific brand. So looking at this slide currently on the screen, and I hope you guys can see it clearly. Can you count how many brands that you know of? Brands that تعرفونها. And then I'm going to ask you whether you know good things about those brands or maybe nasty things about those brands. All right, 70, a lot. But what do you mean by a lot? Come on, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Who said 70? Manal. All right, can we open the mic for Manal? Is it possible? أستاذة نقدر نفتح المايك حق منال؟
Yes, it's open. Hello.
هاي منال صباح الخير.
Hi, صباح النور.
طب منال أنت قلتي لي there are 70 brands on this image. According to you, what are the top 3 brands and why?
Okay, according to me, I'll go with Mercedes, LV, and BMW.
So you said Mercedes, LV, and?
BMW.
BMW. Mohammed, I know most of them you said. Do you share the same opinion as Manal? Mercedes?
Yes, hi.
And BMMI?
No,
Ahliauniversitybh.
I will go for Microsoft, Coca-Cola, and Amazon.
All right, let's keep Manal and Mohammed on the mic, please. Manal, why did you choose LV, Mercedes, and BMW to be your 3 top brands? What do you know about them?
Well, LV is my top favorite brand. That's the first thing. And then Mercedes is my dream car. And VM is a good one. I think I like them, that's why.
All right. Mohammed, Microsoft.
Coca-Cola and Amazon.
And Amazon. Reason?
Microsoft now top companies in the world, and same all of them. I wish I can work with. I can be a manager in these top. يعني هذه high ranking in the world. Maybe top 5 companies.
Yeah. See, I trust if we open the mic for more people from this session, each and every one of us would have a different set of 3 top brands. And the reason, those brands usually work on your psyche. They create an emotional connection of value that is built inside you for that relationship to sustain itself. Have you heard Mohammed saying, I dream of being a manager at one of those companies? May all your dreams come true, Mohammed. Have you heard Manal saying, Mercedes is my dream car? They created that connection between the human element of us and their brand. And if we look further, more of those brands usually does not associate themselves with a slogan. There's no clear mission or vision that we know of. It's just the value that have been built inside us for a reason or another. And those reasons are the success factors of any brand. Usually, successful brands will come with a great characteristic. Looking at this slide, for instance, those are the top automotive brands globally. And if I come to Bahrain and I ask a bunch of people about their top 3 brands, believe it or not, they'll be way different than the top 3 brands in the UK or in the US or in Germany or even in Egypt or Morocco or India. And the reason? There is this characteristic that speaks to the local mindset of each and every one of us. A successful brand is a brand that knows the local market, that knows Manal, that knows Muhammad, that knows Fajr, that knows Maryam, that knows Iman. They know our wants and our needs. And way or another, they make us believe that their brands are actually catering for our needs, for our wants, and for our dreams. They do it constantly. They do it diligently. They do it daily. They make us even use their brand name as verbs. How many times we said in this session for the last 14 minutes, Google it? Google it is not a verb. Open any dictionary. ما في شيء في الحياة اسمه Google it. But we have built that as a result of the attachment that the brand have created in our life. We would ask someone to give us a Kleenex, for instance, or fine in some cultures. There's nothing called Kleenex and fine. The product is a tissue. But because the brands have created that identity, that high quality service and consistency, they have noticed whom they are dealing with. They have actually made it to that level. I'm gonna walk you through a video and then we will run a small test for us to understand what does it mean for the brand to be successful and how. Would you allow me? Say yes. Raise your hands.
Yes.
right. So I said we will run a small test. After all what we have discussed in the video that you have gone through, which illustrated how branding have actually started in the entire world. A branding was a meaning of ownership stamping. At the beginning, they used to stamp their cows and put their names on top of them to identify which cows belong to which farmer. And then things evolved to giving names and slogans and designs and relationship between the consumer, the human side of us, and what's so-called brands. Brands can be products, can be services, can be individuals. And the biggest mistake we usually do that we often confuses brand with things like logo, slogans, or any other recognizable marks, which are marketing tools, makes no mistake. It helps us identify the brand and promote goods and services. But a brand is everything that revolves around you. You as the end user, what makes or breaks a brand. When Manal sits with her friends and she says, this is my top 3 or 5, believe it or not, 60% if not more will get influence and they will follow suit. Muhammad didn't come up with his dream out of nowhere. There has to be a family member, a friend, or an iconic person that he admires who have made it to the top there, or is part of that success, or have dreamt of such thing at some point. And correct me if I'm wrong. We all have the authority to make or break what's so-called brand. So according to you guys, what actually makes a strong brand? What would make you say that this brand is a strong brand? I would buy from it. I would stay at its premises. I dream of working with them or associating with them. Can you take some chances and maybe type stuff on the chat? What makes a strong brand? That empty slot will be filled with your answers. Chat is still empty. Yeah, the value the brand has definitely adds to it. Okay, so you're speaking value. Nice, Reem. What else? The performance. What do you mean by the performance, Arij? Is it the kind of service they provide? Or is the quality of the goods? What do you mean by the performance? حسيت مش تتكلمين عن سيارة.
Okay, I can open my mic and talk.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
okay, so by performance, I mean how strong is the product is and how are their service. Is it easy for me to reach the customer service, for example, or is it hard? And if like those things are weak, I will never go for that brand. But if they are strong, I will absolutely go for that brand.
You makes me feel that you're speaking about a particular brand that you are pissed off with. Do you want to share an experience of yours that actually makes or breaks a brand?
Okay, so one of my I'll give you an example of a phone. So what my first phone I took was BlackBerry, for example, and then I went for Samsung, and now I have an iPhone, and I can say that Samsung is one of the worst phones that I have got. Now I have Apple. I'd say they have the high quality that I wanted. That's why I keep on saying quality and service, quality, service, quality, service, because from the previous phones I have. I didn't like it, but when I got Apple, it has everything that I wanted. And for me, Apple is all about, if you want fakhama, you have Apple.
Do you know what's Apple's slogan? And this is open to everyone. What's theirs? Don't Google it. If you know it, say it. If not, I'm gonna give it to you.
Think differently.
Yeah, yeah. And they mean it in every single letter, in every single character. They're not saying think better, think performance, think customer service. They're eluding you to think different, to perceive things different. And that different have got numerous meanings. Now you're thinking different. But how different? God knows. Trust you would have great opposition in this room because, you know, statistics shows that the majority of the Bahraini community are like Samsung lover. Or maybe Samsung users. ما عليه خلينا نغير الكلمة. They are Samsung users. Lover is something else. But yeah, think different. Thank you, my dear. We have a couple of answers here on the chat box as well. Something else is how consistent they can be when you feel like you know a brand won't let you down. It shows how good they are. Wow. Satisfaction. Think different. So that is the slogan of Apple. See guys, كل اللي قلتوه صح. As I said, ما في شيء صح وغلط because we define when we make the brand a brand and we devaluate it whenever we don't feel that emotional connection toward the brand. And that's what the likes of Apple is actually striving to sustain. Now, after the legacy of their CEO, things has changed, but they are working day and night to make sure that you think different. They usually work to help the brand move beyond just being a product or a service to becoming kind of a lifestyle. Luxury associates with Apple. I'm using your words, guys. I'm using what you are saying because that's what makes a brand a brand. They make us and they make sure that we associate ourselves with their mission. We move their moves. We follow their leads. They associate themselves with our own mission at some point, and then we return it back to them. So if we want to sum up everything and answer this very vague question of what actually makes a strong brand, we can start with experience. And everyone in this room have agreed on the performance, the customer service, the way you use the product, when you contact them, so on and so forth. The value. You would want to invest your time, your money, your effort into something that will give you a satisfactory experience, that will actually makes you feel that you have invested in the right thing, in the right place. Trust. That bridge of trust makes or breaks the relationship between us as end users and the brand. And the success factor of any brand starts and ends with the trust that they create and maintain at the end user psyche. Awareness. We're all here marketeers, and you do have a bright future in front of you guys. You would need to believe me that any brands, regardless of how good they are, if they don't establish a strong awareness about whom they are, what are they standing for, what's their mission and vision, why should you associate yourself with them, and they keep on doing that, they will vanish. And there are brands that have been there, that have been on the top of the list and the top of mind, that have vanished. Though the service and the product is still there, but the awareness have came to a stage where it started fading because they were not feeding it. So you would need to always make sure that you are top of mind and your awareness activities is always there. Coca-Cola, who doesn't know Coca-Cola? Who doesn't buy or drink Coca-Cola unless you are on a strict diet? Have they ever stopped doing their advertisement? Have they ever stopped going through awareness phases of their marketing funnel? They're always there. And that is the name of the game. The marketing bit is something goes beyond awareness. You market something means you to have an objective for it to reach to the end user. So the awareness is more of the word of mouth that helps you sustain the brand. The marketing bit is the authority. So you establish an authority. Wherever you go, you speak the market language. You sell the market needs. You act, the market act. You remain the market that the end user will come to whenever they need or want anything. And then you would need to make sure that you keep your promise. When you promise your customer that your customer service, for instance, is the best, the minute you people will abandon your brand. Take a classic example of a mobile app or a website. How many times you would give that mobile app or that website a chance for it to load before you say, forget it, I'm done with it, I'm moving ahead. That promise of innovation and technology adoption is always there to challenge the brands. I mean, this is one of many. Other brands have promised their end users multiple things. Who knows some of the brand's promises? Who can type on the chat a brand promise? Creativity. Which brand that promised you creativity? I mean, see, do not accuse them or claim something on their behalf. You would need to make sure that the brand actually have promised the customer something. The ultimate driving machine, BMW. منال خلاص انت يعني advocate حق BMW. I'll connect you to their marketing manager, the global one, I promise. This is a promise, see? When I say something in front of everyone and I'm associated with a brand, and that is a promise. Sure. Right, who wanna take part? Or maybe I should do that. Here are a couple of promises from global brands. Can you link those promises to the, don't Google, again, don't Google, it's not an exam. We're here having fun, we're here talking marketeer to a marketeer, and we're here trying to understand the success factors of any given brand. One day, you will be the custodian of global brands. How would you help them sustain their promise? First of all, you would need to understand the promise. You would need to know which promise associates with which brand. Can we please take like 5 minutes and map down each promise to its relevant brand? Nike, just do it. زي ما بغششكم. Reem, stop. No, wait. Loving it, McDonald's. Okay, nice. I hate Samsung, worst company. Apple is #1. I'm not talking about that. Where is the brand promise? All right, so Reem have said Nike is just do it, and then McDonald's loving it. Yalla, go ahead. There are more than 10 promises on this screen. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, and I'm gonna keep a stopwatch here in front of me. And then we would want to open the mic for new people, for them to start answering the questions. Who eats from Subway? Who eats fresh, like Aisha? Hands, hands. Okay, so I've got 4. Nike, McDonald's, Subway, and let's go places. Good try, Ali. Feeling the taste. Melts in your mouth, not in your hands. Let's go places for Toyota. Think differently is for Apple. صح أريج. I think it's based on memory, but they literally used to say it within their commercials, and my family poke fun at the because you are worth it part. Taste the feeling is cola. صح. There are 3 slogans or brand promise that nobody have touched yet. Have it your way, melts in your mouth, fresh and friendly. Burger King, have it your way. Wallah, you are the king. I love the interaction. Manal, Reem, Fajr, Ali. Right. Shall we solve this puzzle? Here you go. Here are those brands that have promised you something, but perhaps because you didn't see the promise coming into life, it was hard for you, kind of challenging to remember it. And if I recall some of the statements that maybe Reem or Manal have left there, كانت تقول because they say it in their commercial and we keep laughing. Why you laugh, guys? If you can open the mic to, I don't know who had said that. Reem? Reem. Reem, what makes you crack from actually laughing at their commercial? You and your family. Can you give her the mic, please? By the way, I'm quite upset. Nobody have got Al Usra slogan, and I'm here representing Al Usra supermarket. أستاذة نقدر نفتح المايك حق منال؟ آسفة ريم أحمد. Can't use the mic. All right. Who wanna give me an experience of his? Someone said maybe we don't always believe the promises. Manal, that's why you don't recall the promises? Because you don't believe them? Okay, I don't want to keep you waiting for long. Your participation has been amazing. I'm glad that you guys started looking for those promises. But it seems like most of you have said, either we don't believe the promise or we are unaware of the promise. But for those brands that were the first answers, I think who have answered? Yeah, so you came up with Nike as your first answer, and the second was McDonald's. And then the rest started piling up. If you allow me, I'm gonna choose McDonald's as a case study today, and we will walk you through those success factors to wrap the session of today and prepare ourselves for the continuity of it tomorrow. Who loves McDonald's and who doesn't? Regardless whether you love it or not, we all know when and how and why do we go to McDonald's. And wherever we go around the globe, that brand identity is always top of mind. They have actually worked on different pillars to create and maintain a connection with the local audience of each and every village, not just country, not just continent. They're there around the globe. And believe it or not, I was in a meeting with the Bahrain franchisors a couple of days ago, and he was saying, the minute we open a new branch, we start calculating the profit and loss. And we always put a provision that we will lose some market share in area A against area B, of which it has a new branch. But the reality have always proved them wrong. They actually start gaining more market share. Do you know why? Do you know why McDonald's is the top brand globally in terms of market share? ماكدونالدز بروحهم من العالم عندهم 22% من الفاست فود chains. Market share, revenue, customer base, engagement, call it as you wish. Compare them to any other retailer. They are still the top on the tier. Why? We've discussed a lot this morning, and we have mentioned the connection. We have mentioned the target audience. We've mentioned the promise. We've mentioned the value. We've mentioned the awareness. We've mentioned the experience. Anyone would disagree that McDonald's, despite all the smoke, actually demonstrate everything and beyond? And the question remains, how? Look at this. What can you see in this screen? Can take part in the chat, or maybe you can voice out if your mic actually supports you. Coca-Cola and McDonald's. Yes. What else? Percentage. It's not a percentage. Give it another shot. One more answer. When Ali, when Muhammad, Reem, degree. Yes. So those are billboards in different locations, in different states. And that digital window actually represents درجة الحرارة, the temperature at that location. And they are telling you, due to the fact that, say, in the state of Texas, it's 102 degrees, we're giving you 102 reasons to refresh yourself. And how? Coke in McDonald's. They're speaking your language. We all go to social media and feature the weather. Oh, اليوم 50 الحرارة. Oh my God, we are melting. Oh my God, share your winter images. What they are doing? They're speaking your language. They're joining your party. They're part of the team wherever you go. You don't feel that they are trying to sell you something until you buy it. And guess what? You are buying it since the age of 5, 6, and you will continue buy it until you are 50, 60. الله يطول في عمركم جميعا. And reasons goes beyond this. This is one of their smart tactics. Successful brands usually enter new markets and attract followers by establishing that global presence with a balanced approach. They show you whom they are, what they are associated with, and they bring a balance. They showcase identity. They speak you. They don't speak them. Because we all know a brand is not what you tell customer, it's what consumers tell each other. Imagine the amount of shareability this billboard have received due to the fact that it speaks the second, it speaks the moment. Those figures keeps changing, but the Coke never change. The golden arch never change. The vibrant of the red background never change. The feeling you get will never change. If it's cold, you still want a burger that is warm and melty and cheesy. If it's hot, you want to refresh the moment with a Coke combined with that mini burger or that wrap. Believe it or not, even their menu keeps changing wherever they go. When you are on the Asian continent, they would give you the Indian cuisine. They would even go to the extent of having a veggie option of their Big Mac. You go to Korea, for instance, you would find that bulgogi kind of Korean beef burger, or perhaps a shrimp, because those people are like seafood lovers. You would come to the region, and because they do understand the diversity and the mixture, they would do the Arabian side, they would go to the Italian bit, and then you do have the Mexican side, and the story carries on. And you, the same consumer, will buy this and that and the third option. Depend on your mood, depend on your needs, or sometimes out of curiosity. نجرب. مطلعين شيء جديد. خلينا نروح نشتري. And why? Because it's value for money. Anyone and everyone can afford it. There's no segregation. It's not meant for a category. And that's what makes them successful. That's what keeps them there. Their customer service. Yeah, few ups and downs, makes no mistake, but there is always that consistency in the flavor, in the packaging, in the style of preparation, in the look and feel. And the story goes beyond that, guys. They earn your trust. They innovate. They bring technology. They speak about ease of life. They bring your favorite band to your dining table. They speak you and me and my 5 years old and my 11 years old. And at some point, my grand children that are yet to come. They do have that mindset of longevity, scalability, and guess what? You are the biggest promoter of such brand. You are the word of mouth. It's us. It's me today. They're paying me nothing and I work for Al-Isra. But I couldn't find a better example to open the door for you and widen your horizon to understand the connection between a brand and a human level of you. أحسن من McDonald's. So, for us to wrap this, and I trust I've spoken a lot this morning, and you're yet to meet me tomorrow. What are the success factors of any retail brand based on what we have discussed and based on the recent case study that we have just elaborated on? خليني أبديتشو في الchat. What will make or break a brand? What are the success factors of any given retail brand based on the discussion we have had? It's not rocket science. It's you guys that makes or breaks the brand. But let's sum it up so you can take a screenshot of this slide. If the brand delivers as promised, it does help make a brand as we noticed it. Nice. Reem, can we put them in bullet points, if you don't mind? Still believe the value they hold and how consistent they are with their products, services. Awesome. Hamad, Fajr, Manal. I started knowing you guys by names. Hopefully I'll meet you one day. خوفتيني منال, you'll break my brand? ليش؟ حرام عليك. Okay, let's try. First of all, whether you are a local brand or a global brand or an international brand or even a personal brand, you would need to start by knowing the who. Who are your target audience? Whom are you speaking to? Whom are you serving? Whom are you selling to? And the minute you know the who, you would need to be open-minded and flexible to blend and mold your vision, your mission, your product, your service, your language, and everything around your brand to meet their demand. Because if you don't do so, that's a failure sign. And that's what the likes of McDonald's is doing. And we have proved it during this session. So they know their target audience. They know what they need. They know what they want. And they also have got the urge to be flexible enough to cater for their needs. And they are always available. Availability is key. People have got no time, no energy to travel miles to eat McDonald's or to eat anything, or even to come to Al-Isra or to buy an apple. Availability is key. And availability comes with technology, comes with innovation, comes with you knowing where are those condensed areas and catchment areas, and be around them and always be available. This is applicable to sales. This is applicable to service. This is applicable to even knowledge. You would need to be available for people to know more about you and about your brands. Affordability. And again, affordability never means being cheap or undermining your prices. You can still charge what the product value is, but you need to tell people why. Why are they paying for the LV? Going back to the earlier example, why would she pay for the Mercedes? Why would she save for a good number of years or maybe acquire a loan to get that high-end car, not a Toyota or whatever the case may be, not an affordable car? Because to her, that is value for money. And to her, the brand have helped build that perception. And that's what makes or breaks a brand. Personalization. You know me? You know what I need? How much do you know about your end users? Their age, their mental state, their income level, their dreams, their obstacles, their challenges. And you need to be there for them when they need you. With McDonald's, you feel depressed, you go and eat McDonald's. And tell me I'm wrong. You feel hungry, and it's the end of the month, likes of us who gets paychecks, and you say, no, I don't want to spend more than 2 BD. The best meal comes from McDonald's. You fancy an ice cream on the go, McDonald's. You want a coffee, believe it or not, those people that haven't tried McDonald's coffee, go and try it. It's 800 fils, the best black coffee you can find in town. And ask any coffee bean if they can beat it. They personalize their products, their approach, their services, even their communication strategy. They don't put the same ads everywhere because they know people are not similar everywhere. And that example of the billboard with the digital weather sign or a temperature degree is a very classic example of personalization. Involvement. Your brand needs to be part of the community, needs to be part of each and every family, needs to get into schools, needs to get into kindergarten, needs to get into offices, needs to get into backyards, needs to be part of your birthday celebration and the best memories in your life, needs to be part of your sadness and sorrows, needs to be part of your midnight craving. وقيسوا عليها من هذه الأمور كثير. And before we wrap, innovation. It's an inevitable. Your brand needs to navigate around the digital space, way or another. And you need to always be ahead of the curve. Do not follow, however, lead. And in order for you to sustain everything in here and keep it going, your quality and consistency needs to be ahead of you. Guys, it was an amazing session. And guess what? We will continue tomorrow. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that engagement that you have given me this morning. I had a blast.
شكرا جزيلا أستاذة إيمان، يعطيك العافية.
يعافيكم جميعا، تشرفنا فيكم وإن شاء الله نلاقيكم بكرة
بإذن الله. شكرا جزيلا على المحاضرة اللي فعلا واثقين تماما بأن الطلبة استفادوا منها، وإن شاء الله المحاضرة في لها تكملة باكر إن شاء الله الساعة 11 على موعدنا.
إن شاء الله نلقاكم على خير. Stay safe and thank you very much. مع السلامة منى. Thank you.
شكرا، يعطيك العافية، مع السلامة. بكذي نكون كملنا فعاليات اليوم الثاني. نلتقي إن شاء الله باكر بفعاليات ثانية، واللينكات إن شاء الله راح تكون عند الدكاترة، راح نطرشها ليكم. يعطيكم العافية ومع السلامة.
مشكورة دكتورة، مع السلامة.